as lost as a ball in tall weeds. That is exactly how I felt. Although it was 15 years ago, I can still taste the emotion as if it were yesterday. Out of control, lost, no sense of power. I felt dread creep across the room like the afternoon shadows on a cold winter's day. Sitting again at the kitchen table with too much month left at the end of the money, I was not having fun. This adult stuff where a wife looks at you to provide and kids expect to be fed and kept warm was not exactly working. I didn't feel like some powerful adult. Instead, there was a little boy inside of me who was very afraid. Afraid of this month's bills, afraid of this month's mortgage, and absolutely terrified when I considered the future. How was I going to send kids to college, retire, enjoy life, and not live at the edge of money worries? It seemed every month I sat at the same table with the same worries, fears, and problems. I had too much debt, too little savings, and no sense of control over my life. No matter how hard I worked, it seemed I couldn't win. When Sharon and I talked about money, we ended up in a fight, leaving her feeling afraid and me feeling inadequate. I didn't need a get-rich-quick guy to pump me up or tell me to be positive. I didn't need a secret formula to riches. I wasn't afraid of hard work or sacrifice. I didn't want to feel my way into being positive. I was positive of only one thing. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of sitting down to do the bills and having a heaviness come over me. All the money came in, all the money went out. I owe, so off to work I go. You know the drill, and all the cliches that go with the drill. Oh, some months everything seemed to work. I could tell myself then, oh, well, this is how everyone lives. Those times offered enough wiggle room that I could continue to lie to myself that we were making headway, but deep down I knew we weren't. I did it my way, and my way wasn't working. Enough! This stinks. If you've ever had any of those feelings, you are going to love this audiobook, and more important, you will love your Total Money Makeover. 15 years ago, my wife Sharon and I went broke. We lost everything due to my stupidity in handling money, or not handling it, as the case may be. Hitting bottom and hitting it hard was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and the best thing that ever happened to me. We started with nothing, but by the time I was 26 years old, we held real estate worth over $4 million. I was good at real estate, but I was better at borrowing money. Even though I had become a millionaire, I had built a house of cards. The short version of the story is that we went through financial hell and lost everything. We were sued, foreclosed on, and finally, with a brand new baby and a toddler, we were bankrupt. Scared doesn't begin to cover it. But we held on to each other, and we decided we needed a change. So I went on a quest to find out how money really works, how I could get control of it, and how I could have confidence in handling it. I read everything I could get my hands on. I interviewed old rich people who made money and kept it. That quest led me to a really, really uncomfortable place, my mirror. I came to realize that my money problems, worries, and shortages largely began and ended with the person in my mirror. I realized also that if I could learn to manage the character I shaved with every morning, well, I could win at money. That quest led me on a new journey over the last 15 years, the journey of helping others, literally millions of others, to take that same quest to the mirror. Live events, Financial Peace University, The Dave Ramsey Show on Talk Radio, and the New York Times bestsellers Financial Peace and More Than Enough have enabled me to tell millions of Americans what I have learned the hard way about money. I have a challenge for you. Are you ready to take on the guy or gal in your mirror? If you are, you're ready to win. I discovered God's and Grandma's simple way of handling money. Wealth building isn't rocket science, which is a good thing for me and probably for you. Winning at money is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge. Most of us know what to do, but we just don't do it. If I can control the guy in the mirror, I can be skinny and rich. We'll let the other audio books work on the skinny, and I'll help you with the rich part. No, there are no secrets, and yes, this is going to be very hard. Hey, if it were easy, every moron walking would be wealthy. So my Total Money Makeover begins with a challenge. The challenge is you. You are the problem with your money. The financial channel or some tape sets aren't your answer. You are. You are the king of your future, and I have a plan. The Total Money Makeover plan isn't theory. It works every single time. It works because it is simple. It works because it gets to the heart of your money problems. You. Tens of thousands of ordinary people have used the system to get out of debt, regain control, and build wealth. These people have sacrificed for a short period of time, so they will never have to sacrifice again. If you're looking for a roadmap to get you home, you've found it. If you're looking for something easy or fast, you have the wrong audiobook. If you're looking for a writer who has an intricate academic theory, which don't work in the real world, well, you've got the wrong guy. I have many of the academic pedigrees, but I ended up broke. I've actually twice become a millionaire from nothing. The first time was in my 20s. The money was in real estate, and I lost that due to my stupidity. The second time, I was not yet 40, but I did the money thing right that time, and I am debt-free. I often hear about broke finance professors who bemoan that I'm way too simple, or as a recent emailer told me on the Dave Ramsey show one day, "Dave, you're a one-trick pony." To those of you who have great but unexecuted plans, I say prove your plan. I have proven mine. This plan works, but it will cost you. It will teach you to say new words like no. In short, your Total Money Makeover will be a personal money makeover where you learn this motto. If you live like no one else, later you can live like no one else. This is the motto for your Total Money Makeover. It's my way of reminding you that if you will make the sacrifices now that most people aren't willing to make, later on you will be able to live as those folks will never be able to live. I'm sorry, there isn't an easier path, but the good thing about this one is it works. You can repeat the motto to yourself as you pass up a purchase in order to hit your goals. When you work late and are tired, you can say the motto again to yourself. Of course, this isn't a magic formula. I'm not into that. But it does remind you that you will win and the payoff will be worth the cost. I don't want to walk across hot coals because it is fun. But if I can be shown how a short, painful walk will do away with a lifetime of worry, frustration, stress, and fear that being constantly broke brings me, then bring on the hot coals. My promise to you is, if you will follow the guidelines of this proven system of sacrifice and discipline, you can be debt-free. Begin saving and give as you've never given before. You will build wealth. The Total Money Makeover isn't a magic formula to wealth. This system will not work unless you do. Your situation isn't your spouse's fault. Well, maybe, but we'll talk later. It isn't your parents' fault. It isn't your children's fault. And it isn't your friend's fault. It's your fault. My financial life began turning around when I took responsibility for it. Please join me on a journey away from the young man I was, the one I described earlier who was racked with worry, fear, and guilt over money. Take this journey with me on your own Total Money Makeover. But remember, the first part of the quest is confronting the man in the mirror. That man in the mirror is your Total Money Makeover challenge. Chapter 2. Denial. I'm not that out of shape. Several years ago, I realized I had let my body dissolve into flab. I had worked so hard for so many years that I had abandoned the care of my physical condition. The first step to getting into shape was to realize that I needed to change my ways, but the second, and equally important step, was to identify the obstacles to getting there. What would stop me from getting into shape? Once I understood those obstacles, I began the process to lose weight, grow muscle, and become more fit. Your Total Money Makeover is the same. You need to realize there's a problem. But you must also see what could hinder your move toward financial fitness. Look in the mirror, take a long look. What do you see? Well, I'm really not that fat, maybe just a little flabby. My dad used to say 90% of solving a problem is realizing there is one. Focused intensity, life or death intensity, is required for you to reset your money spending patterns. And one of your biggest obstacles is denial. The sad thing is, you can be financially mediocre in this country, financially flabby, and still be average. And if the truth be known, being average, normal, and financially flabby is pretty much okay by most folks' standards. This, however, is not an audio book for the wimpy among us. This is an audio book about winning, about really having something. For several years, I've spoken to live audiences, teaching them the ideas in this book. After one of those live events, Sarah told me her Total Money Makeover came only after life placed a call to her. She said she'd heard me quote the Wall Street Journal as reporting that 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, but she honestly thought she was in the 30% who were fine. She had financially struck a pose, and the pose was denial. With 2 sons from her previous marriage, Sarah had just remarried and was happy and secure in her job, as was her husband, John. Their new life together seemed awesome. Their household combined income was about $75,000 a year, with the normal debts of small student loans, a car loan, and only $5,000 on a credit card. With life under control and going well, Sarah and John decided their new family needed a new home. Somewhere deep inside, there may have been uneasiness, but it was very deep. In May, they moved into the new home, complete with a big new payment. In September, Sarah's boss asked to see her in his office. She was excelling at work and braced herself for a big atta-girl, followed by a nice raise or a bonus. Instead, the boss explained her job was being eliminated. "Downsizing, you know," he said. Her life's work was cut from her, and $45,000 of their $75,000 income, with the boss's chilling words. That night, there were tears, fears, and the sudden stark realization that she and John were financially fat. Suddenly, Sarah and her family were facing foreclosure on the house and repossession of the car. The basics of life had become precious. Sarah and John had listened to the Dave Ramsey show on the radio, but they always thought someone else needed a total money makeover. After all, they always held in their stomachs when standing in front of the mirror. The night after her layoff was the first night they looked in the financial mirror and saw fat people. The sight wasn't pretty. Big house payments, fat car payments, sloppy large student loans, bloated credit cards, anorexic savings, and no budget. They saw fat people. When you are physically fat, it's hard to be in denial. When you're financially fat, however, you can fake it and look good for a while. Your friends and family will participate in your fantasy/denial, which makes you believe you're doing just fine. One of the 4 major factors that keeps people from winning in money by getting a total money makeover is not realizing they need one. Sadly, some of the most dramatic makeovers I've seen have been by people who have had life smack them so hard they got the denial knocked out of them. If life isn't smacking you around at the moment, you are actually in a greater danger than Sarah and John the night of the layoff. You are a real candidate for financial mediocrity or even a major crisis brought on by denial.
Dave Ramsey shares his deeply personal and transformative journey from financial ruin to prosperity. 15 years ago, he felt lost and overwhelmed, struggling to make ends meet while facing the expectations of providing for his family. The recurring financial stress left him feeling powerless and fearful about the future, constantly worried about bills, mortgage payments, and the ability to afford his children's education. Despite working hard, Ramsey found himself trapped in a cycle of debt and financial instability. Conversations about money with his wife often led to fights, exacerbating feelings of inadequacy. He realized that the problem wasn't the lack of effort, but the approach to handling money. Frustrated with the situation, he decided it was time for a change. Ramsey's turning point came when he and his wife hit rock bottom, losing everything due to poor financial management. This low point, marked by bankruptcy and foreclosure, served as a catalyst for change. Determined to rebuild their lives, Ramsey embarked on a quest to understand money management better. He read extensively, interviewed successful people, and scrutinized his own financial habits. Through this journey, Ramsey discovered that the root of his financial problems was his own behavior. He realized that to achieve financial success, he needed to manage the person in the mirror. This insight led to the development of his Total Money Makeover, a plan focused on changing financial behavior and building wealth through disciplined practices. Ramsey emphasizes that winning with money is primarily about behavior rather than knowledge. He advocates for taking responsibility for one's financial situation and making necessary sacrifices to achieve long-term stability. The Total Money Makeover plan is simple yet effective, requiring commitment and discipline to follow through. The plan includes several key principles: living on a budget, eliminating debt, building an emergency fund, and investing for the future. Ramsey's approach is not about getting rich quickly, but about making sustainable changes that lead to financial freedom. He believes that anyone can achieve financial success by following these steps and maintaining a disciplined approach to money management. Ramsey's own experience of going from a millionaire to broke and back to financial success provides a compelling testimony to the effectiveness of his plan. He warns against the dangers of denial, urging people to face their financial realities head-on. Ignoring financial problems only leads to mediocrity or crisis, whereas acknowledging and addressing them can pave the way to prosperity. One of the significant obstacles to financial success is denial. Ramsey shares stories of individuals who lived in financial denial until a life crisis forced them to confront their situation. He argues that it is better to recognize the need for a financial makeover before a crisis hits, as proactive measures can prevent long-term damage. Ramsey's Total Money Makeover plan is not just about paying off debt. It's about changing one's mindset towards money. He encourages people to view money management as a skill that can be learned and mastered. By making smart financial decisions and avoiding common pitfalls, individuals can build wealth and achieve financial independence. The plan also highlights the importance of living within one's means. Ramsey advises against lifestyle inflation and encourages people to prioritize saving and investing over spending. He emphasizes that true financial freedom comes from having control over one's finances, rather than being controlled by debt and expenses. Ramsey's approach is practical and accessible, designed to be followed by anyone regardless of their financial situation. He believes that with the right mindset and tools, anyone can turn their financial life around. His plan is based on timeless financial principles that have been proven to work repeatedly. In his teachings, Ramsey also addresses the emotional aspects of money management. He acknowledges that money problems can cause significant stress and strain on relationships. By gaining control over finances, individuals can reduce stress and improve their overall quality of life. Ramsey's message is one of hope and empowerment. He assures that it is never too late to take control of one's financial future. With determination and the right plan, anyone can overcome financial challenges and build a secure and prosperous life. The Total Money Makeover is a journey of self-discovery and transformation. It requires individuals to confront their habits, make difficult choices, and stay committed to their financial goals. Ramsey's own story serves as a powerful example of what is possible when one takes responsibility for their financial destiny. Through his books, radio show, and live events, Ramsey has helped millions of people achieve financial success. His practical advice and straightforward approach resonate with those seeking to improve their financial health. The Total Money Makeover plan is a testament to his belief that financial freedom is attainable for everyone willing to put in the effort. Ramsey's teachings extend beyond personal finance to encompass broader life lessons. He advocates for integrity, hard work, and perseverance in all areas of life. By applying these principles, individuals can not only improve their financial situation, but also lead more fulfilling lives. In conclusion, Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover offers a comprehensive guide to achieving financial freedom. It is a plan grounded in practical advice and personal experience, designed to help individuals take control of their finances and build a secure future. By following Ramsey's principles and staying disciplined, anyone can turn their financial life around and achieve lasting success.